A Game Boy Classic Edition. Is it possible? Well, it's been a while, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? But I'm always late to the party, and that's how I roll. Like many staying up to date with gaming news, Nintendo filed a patent that could hit on the Game Boy Classic, or perhaps could be simply protection on the brand. So, this kind of news gets me excited because I was a handheld player. While many had their consoles back in the 2000s, I was diving into the Play Anywhere scene, taking games on the go that helped kill a lot of time when I wasn't home. Story short, my parents gifted me and my brother with the original Game Boy. It came with Tetris and it was a great time waster. What more could a kid ask for? Well, nothing else, because if I wanted games, I had to work for them, by which opened me to open the doors to the Game Boy library. So, with this news about a possible Game Boy Classic, what are my thoughts? Well, I find it odd that this hint could be realistic or not, but I would have preferred if Nintendo went properly with their product releases, because I'm sure the Game Boy came out before the Super Nintendo. But no harm, if this patent does lead to a Game Boy Classic, I'll be stoked to get one. To start off, let's discuss what the product may look like. Would it be a plug and play? A dedicated handheld with built-in games? I personally believe it will be a plug and play because it will be much cheaper to produce these, under the belief that the motherboard in the Super Nintendo Mini is the same in the NES Mini. So they would keep the same size for the device and have it where the cartridge slot would be the output for the HDMI, while the Game Boy Classic is the controller itself. The link cable could be included to connect another Game Boy model to allow 2-player modes. So what kind of Game Boy would they choose to represent the Classic Edition? Well, I think it'll be the original Game Boy, to be fair. While the menu is in color and allowing the palettes to be accessible and Game Boy Color games to have their full palettes, reason I see this is because the Game Boy Color came out a few years ago after the success of the original Game Boy. So you can't have the mini Classic Edition modeled after the Game Boy Color because it was a successor to the original Game Boy. So it's going to be the shell of the original Game Boy, but the screen is going to be in color and includes the Game Boy Color palettes. So, what's my list of games that I think will be on it? Well, first and foremost, I have a hard time seeing Pokemon on this thing, mainly because one of the key points of the game was linking under the Game Boy for battles and trades, so that's left out on the list. Second, I think the Game Boy Classic will at least have maybe 20 or 30 games, and priced around $60. But let's cut it short and list the games that I would like to see, which is pretty much wishful thinking on its own, because Nintendo kind of chooses a little bit of oddball choices and sometimes surprises us with, wow, that game should have been there, but it wasn't on there. So a disclaimer, this list won't probably hit the 20 or 30 mark, mainly because I haven't played much of the library. So what games? Super Mario Land 1, Super Mario Land 2, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land 2, Wario Land 3, Metroid 2, Link's Awakening, Tetris, Operation C, Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Land, Double Dragon, Final Fantasy Adventure, Game Boy Gallery, Gargoyle's Quest, Ghosts and Goblins, Golf, Kid Icarus, Myths and Monsters, Kirby's Dream Land, Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge, Baseball, and Dr. Mario. As I said, this list doesn't hit the 20 or even the 30 mark, but these are some games that I would want to see on there, and they can fill the rest in with multiplayer games, puzzle games, whatever has been left out of genres that they can fill in. But who knows how many games are going to be on there. Maybe they'll even go the 15 route, the 20 route. They'll have a usual thing. Who knows how this is going to be. I more see it as a plug and play because it's kind of hard to see it as a dedicated handheld, because that's going to cost more for its own battery, the IR sensor, the cables, and a dedicated screen on itself. So that's my take on it. What are your takes on it? Who knows when we'll see it, and if it ever comes out, I know I'll be first in line to get one. And I will see you guys in the next video.